Hey there folks, welcome to Boating on a Budget with me, the Tight Yorkshireman. If you follow us on some of the other social media platforms, Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, etc., you've probably spotted over the last couple of weeks that Dawn's not been very well. Well, by not very well, I mean she had a few drinks and then fell over and ripped the calf muscle on the back of her leg. So she's been laid up for a couple of weeks. Part of the reason why we've not done any videos lately. But while Dawn's been laid up, it's meant I've been in charge of everything. Cooking, cleaning, housework, the lot. And as you can perhaps see, my housework leaves a little bit to be desired. And I want to finally crack on and get this ceiling done. Yes, we are finally getting the ceiling done. But first off, that means I've got to have a real good tidy up. So I think I'm going to stick the kettle on, get cracking with this tidy up, and I'll see you in a minute. Well, I think you'll agree then, that looks a little bit better. And it did take more than one cuppa. But it were worth it, we're all clean, tidy, and we're ready to go on this ceiling. If you remember, a little while ago, alright, it was about 12 months ago, if not more, when I started putting all these beams in, this end of the boat, I'd kind of got them all in level, so that they follow on nicely, ready for the boards. That end, I just roughly put them in place. I'm going to have to sort those out as we go. But the one thing I do need is, in effect, a beam running straight down the middle, because I'm obviously not going to get sheets of plywood in that are the full width of the ceiling. So there's going to be a join down the middle there. So I'm going to need something to secure that and screw them to it. So what I'm going to have to do is go outside, get all the tools set up, and then cut the pieces of CLS, the right sizes, to go in between there. So with the first one cut, I now need to mark a centre line all the way down the ceiling. Easy way of doing that is with a bit of string and a couple of screws. So one screw in here, one screw in that end. Hook it on there. And as I follow that down, I'll then be able to come back and mark my centre line. Now I'm happy it's all marked out, I can go ahead and get it fitted. And I'm using plenty of this CT1 because obviously last thing we want is in weeks, months and years to come of this ceiling starting to sag. So much as this CT1 is pretty expensive, even the Tight Yorkshireman thinks it's money well spent. And what a brilliant time for the battery to run out on the drill. Hang fire. Take two then. You'd have thought I'd have had the batteries charged up, wouldn't you? As I put this one in, you might recall from when we were doing the ceiling and the roof, beyond this section of fiberglass, there is sort of about an inch of timber before another layer of fiberglass. So this screw is in effect biting into that layer of timber. So that now is in good and solid, it's going nowhere, all nice and rigid. So this one next. And as if by magic, that one's in. This next one's slightly trickier. It's a little bit longer than those ones for a start, but I'm going to have to notch out to go around these other supports in there. Nothing too major. Cut it to length first off, then measure where these are, and then cut down with the jigsaw. We'll do that outside. This next one's cut to length then, and the right depth, so it's going to slot in there nicely. I've marked out where those joists are that are going to be in the way. This one comes down about 3.5 centimetres, so it's going to be down to about there. And this one's about 3, so about there. Easiest way to do this is, I think I said jigsaw while I was in there, but if I get my circ saw now and set it up to this right depth, and then just run it across, that'll take out the material that we don't need. Notches cut out then, and that should slip nicely into there, which yeah, that's going to fit perfect. So let's get some of this CT1 on the job. I'm sure you can now imagine this is just a case of repeat, repeat, repeat all the way down. So I'm going to put kettle on, have a brew, carry on with all them, and I'll come back to you in a minute when it's time to start putting some insulation in. Well, as I'm working my way down, I've now got sort of about 8 foot down the boat, and I've come to a point where there's one of the old air vents still in the roof. I now need to change that for one of the new mushrooms while I'm doing. can now start getting some of the insulation in. Well, you'll be pleased to know I've saved your ears from loads of that squeaking, squealy noise as I'm cutting all that insulation, because it's horrible and it proper goes through me, and I'm sure it goes through you when you listen to it. So we've now actually jumped forward to the following morning, and I spent the rest of yesterday getting this insulation up on the ceiling on this section that I'd already done. So that's now ready for the boarding. The problem I've got with that is, although it's kind of a little bit sunny out there at the minute, they've actually forecast quite a bit of rain for later on today. And the timber that we've got for the ceiling, the plywood, is all in a container down the other end of the moorings. And we put that in there nearly 12 months ago when we bought it. And since then it's had loads of other bits and bobs and little bits of timber and offcuts and things put in front of it. So I've now probably got best part of a couple of hours job to empty this container, get our plywood out, and then get it cut to the right sizes. And like I say, with the rain coming, I'm not going to risk doing that today. The other issue I've got, and what I need to bear in mind, is once I've cut those sheets to the right size, I really need somebody here helping me, holding them in place while I get the screws in and what have you. And at the minute, Dawn's not really in a position to be able to do that. Although yes, I have been mean and she has gone to work, she is sat in a chair with a leg up. That's a little bit different to standing here holding sheets of plywood above your head. What I can be doing though is I can carry on putting more of these joists up in the right place all the way down the boat and getting the insulation in down there. That should then mean when Dawn is fit and ready and able to help me again, we can just crack on and get the actual ceiling boards up themselves. For regular viewers who watched our last video while we were out camping up in Macclesfield, you'll perhaps recognise this sign that Dawn did. And we did say on there we were going to explain a little bit more about the meaning of the gloops and things on our next video. But because Dawn's not here today, I'll leave that till next time and she can explain all about gloops. I hope you've enjoyed this video then, where I've actually got back to doing some work on the boat. So like I say, over the last few weeks with one thing and another, including our trip away, etc., not really done a great deal on it. So it's good to get back, get them tools out, get grafting again. I'm sure you're already subscribed to the channel, which is absolutely free. If you're not, just click the subscribe button, ding the little bell. That means each time we put a video on, you'll get a notification. You can tune in and watch and see what we're up to next. So thanks for watching then folks, and we'll see you next time.